When you done hearing this, I hope you can relate a little. Cause I wrote for you. I got hella women that's on me on a daily basis.
Today, I was like, man.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mild Sauce Live. I'm Jake Krez. We're back again. We were here last week with Rich Jones. This week, we got the one and only Musa Reems.
Gang. Hey,
Studio
we out here.
Audience. Thanks for coming to the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you braved the cold. Winter finally settling in outside.
Yes, it is.
But
Siberia.
we got some heat inside. We're just playing HML, the track we premiered earlier today at mildsauce.co. It's the second track off of, help me with that name, man. That name.
Gamma Quietus.
How do you say it?
Gamma Quietus.
Quietus.
Yeah.
Gamma Quietus. The new album on its way.
Yeah.
Shaping up pretty decent so far. A lot of soulful vibes on the latest track.
Thank you.
Really getting in your feelings a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how this track came together. It's definitely got that sitting next to your cell phone after the breakup type of vibe.
I wanted to try something different with this new EP, so it's a lot of different sounds. But with this one, my homie IF Jams came through, sent me a couple beats, and that stuck out immediately. And I was like, let me write a love song, you know. And I wanted to be something different, and it was the Beyonce sample already kind of led me in a certain direction. So with that, I took it, and I'm like, okay, what is something that most people think about when you waiting for somebody or you like somebody? It's like, okay, I want you to hit my line. So I made that the title, and then went from there. It kind of wrote itself. I wrote that in the night, so yeah, kind of wrote itself. Yeah.
How does this fit into like the larger context of like the project that you're putting together? Because you're saying you're trying to do something a little different. How does this like kind of diverge from what you've been doing?
Gamma Quietus translates to third engine, third death. I feel like I'm kind of going through the third phase. I'm going to a different phase in my life. Towards the end of the year, I feel like when I got into school, when I was 18, I released Another Dose. It was kind of my introduction into rapping. Then I did the Lately I've Been Soul Searching series with Amp last year, and that was my second thing. And now this is the third phase of it. Me going into something different. So just talking about just me growing into a young man. I'm about to be 22 next year. So I talk about a lot of different things now, and my writing has matured in many different ways because I've had experience.
Well, that's the thing I talk to a lot of people about is like the idea of having like sympathy over empathy. People talk about empathy a lot, but if you actually experience things, you can speak about them from like a better standpoint, right? Anybody can sit down and think about what something feels like or something is, but if you've actually gone out and had those experiences, I think that's like one of the most fun parts about growing up. Cat agrees with us. But what has been some experiences you've had recently? I know you're talking like you're in school right now at Columbia. You just did the AMP program over there. Shout out RTC and everybody who's doing that.
Shout out them.
How has that like influenced what you've been doing and shaped this album that you have coming up?
I think with AMP, I came into I thought I knew what I wanted to do, and I had a lot of material done. So when I pushed the projects and met people, it made me open my horizons in terms of how I want to make music. But being with AMP also led me to traveling and doing different things like that. So when I got to see different places outside of Chicago, I started to relate to people in a different way. So I've been in New York a lot, Indiana, going to Baltimore next year, doing a lot of stuff within the Midwest.
Is this all like touring?
Yeah, I did shows. Shows. And then I opened up for Wu-Tang too. And I remember when
Where was that at?
Toyota Park.
Oh,
it was the breaks.
Right.
But just being able to see different things, but also I remember when I first started rapping, I was heavily influenced by New York hip hop, the golden era 90s,
like the boom
bap stuff. Yeah, so getting into this new stuff and like within the last year, I had to refigure out what I wanted to tell and how I wanted to tell my own story. And being from Chicago is different. It's in the middle of the country, so you kind of get to pull from different things. But instead of just focusing on me being from Chicago, I'm like, okay, what makes me Musa Reems, you know? And with that being said,
so what is that? What makes Musa Reems?
The last year was 2018. Been a crazy year in general, just within the world.
I feel like a lot of people feel the same way.
It's this crazy period. So, I mean, I went through a lot of things, like in terms of friendships, like relationships, everything. So me just being able to be open about that and be like, okay, taking accountability for what I do in my actions, and then also taking accountability for other people doing, just learning within myself. I feel like that's important. And with me, I know that I'm not perfect, so I'm always trying to figure out how to get better. And one thing I would say Musa Reems is he's patient, but he's very understanding, you know? And I think that's important to think about in terms of growth, because we all have room to progress in different ways. And I heard somebody talk about, I went to this thing at Soul House yesterday, and he was talking about how Miles Davis said, as an artist, whenever you think that you're good, that's when you need to stop. And I feel like that's translates to my art, but also my music too. I mean, my life. you know what I'm saying, and how I am as a person. So you want to have a positive mindset about how you are, but you also have to realize that it's a lot of room for growth, and you're not perfect. You can always take it a step higher and then take things that you don't know and learn. It's never too late to learn. You're never too old to learn, and it can come from any place.
No, I mean, that's a great perspective. There's like that idea that everyone thinks like you're only supposed to learn until you're like 22 and graduate from school, right? Mm-hmm. I can tell you, I probably learned more since then than I did in those years. Yeah. What's some like stuff that like you're talking about experiences and things that have gone into this album? You're talking also about like the 3 chapters or the 3 what'd you call it?
Like 3 phases of my life.
3 phases, yeah, my fault. What is this phase kind of? Is this like a big growth phase? You very much sound like you're in 22. You're kind of opening up to the world, seeing it a little wider type.
Right,
thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say this new phase is definitely me finding myself, but also finally figuring out, okay, this is what I want to do. And I feel like growing up, I'd be like, I kind of want to do this. I'll be leaning on the left and leaning on at the right at the same time. Now I have more of a solid stance. I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. And with the 3 phases, this stage is me just being confident and just saying, yeah, this is me and this is what I'm going to do. So I think that's what you will hear within the music. And then also my experiences in the last year, I also took time to study the craft. So like going to YCA, like hearing verses from Adam Def C, Add To, the kids around me at Young Chicago.
Yeah,
Artists.
It's a crazy creative.
Yeah, it's great because you get to take things from different people, and we all live in the same city, but we all have different perspectives and we all have different experiences. So every time I'm in that space, or even spaces around Chicago, period, I'm in the lab with people. It brings certain things out of me, and I just enjoy collaboration. That's one thing I've been doing more. It's a lot more features on this project, and I just did something with Nassim, Vic Spencer, and Sully.
Yeah,
so
Nassim,
yeah, exactly.
Good friend of the show.
Yeah, and that was dope too, because I've been trying. I feel like the first couple projects, it was me just trying to showcase how good I could rap. And
well, I feel like you got to do that, though.
Right, exactly.
I mean, like, there's got to be something that you put down in the world that's like, this is me, this is what I am, and then you kind of build from there, right? How have you seen people reacting to, putting your foot out there? Because it's not easy. Like, I mean, people take for granted. There are a lot of artists out there, there are a lot of rappers out there, but it's still a hard thing to like put, like what you were saying, take those feelings, those emotions, and put them onto something, and like perform in front of people and stuff like that.
It is.
But how have you seen people reacting around the city? You just mentioned a lot of names in like the last answer, like where you were saying all these different people that you're working with, FC, Ed too, those kinds of things. Has there been people reaching out saying, I see you doing this? I see you moving?
It's been cool, just because sometimes you don't know and you see certain people and like you see them around the city, and one person is like, show you suck, shows mad love to me, like
absolutely.
St. Millie. Another person, there you go. Right there. Like they just, every time I see them, they show love, and they just very encouraging, and it's needed because everybody has doubts, but at the same time you have times like, okay, I want to do this, but just to hear people within the city that I look up to, and when I was in high school, I was looking up to them. I was seeing Treated, I was seeing everything happening within the city. So for them to basically say like, yeah, bro, you doing this it's an honor.
Yeah, and I think it's something that we like, we talk about often when we talk about Chicago hip hop, especially in this like, newer era that's come about, and like the post Chance and Vic and all that crew coming up. Whereas like there's a like helping out. It's crabs in a bucket and a lot of other things in Chicago, but on the art side, it's
like
seems
every city though, probably.
But in the on the music side here, like it definitely is less like that. I definitely see people building each other. People want to see people win from the city. Like what's your experience been like? I mean, coming out of the YCA, I mean, you like almost have a built-in like squad cheering section in a way, right?
Yeah, YCA, I started going later. I got featured on their project in like 2015. I was in high school, but I was in a group during the time called Children of Ilios. Then when I got to college, I started doing more. I did Chicago Next when I was like, that was 2016 or 2017. I did Chicago Next at the Soho House. And then, they just been constant supporters. But just going up there is great. And then also being at Columbia, that added another layer to it, and being around the kids there and the students. And then learning from the team that I have now and just branching out from there was important to me. But Chicago, it's been a great experience in general because the friends I had when I first started making music, we all doing our own things now because some of us making clothes. We doing different art things, but we still see each other doing it. We still trying to support each other.
Right.
And one of the people like that is Kevon. He from out over east. He been a big person that's been like a huge supporter, a good friend of mine. I see him doing what he's doing within the streetwear scene and like musically, and then he see what I'm doing, and then also meeting new people. And within the last, and Chicago small, but I did expect to meet the people out that I met and to have relationships with them. But when it actually happens, it's like, whoa, this is crazy, and it's a great city to be in. And I love. Sometimes I ride around the city. I'm like, yo, I love being here. You know.
I know it's like it can like shackle you at times too, right? It's like you don't want to leave.
Yeah.
But you're getting out. You said you're getting around. What's some of the stuff like? What are some of the lessons you kind of learned at YCA? What are some of the things you kind of were like instilled in, especially like performing, right? You say you're going around this now. Are there things you take from like? I mean, man, I remember like being 23, 24, but like first time I went to YCA, I was way late for that shit. Just I was writing about it at the time. I remember going. I was just like reporting on YCA as an entity, and I remember watching kids get up there, and I was nervous for them. You know what I mean? Like getting those nerves off, getting those feelings off is like a really big thing. It's like to build that confidence for the stage. Is that something like you really carry on?
Yeah, within the last year, just period with YCA and just period, my growth on stage has been just monumental.
What can people expect? We had a boxer here the other day, Chris Owsley. He was hyping up he was telling us what he's like. You'll see a knockout. You'll see a
I mean, yeah, that's what you want to. It's high energy for sure. I mean, I like to integrate a lot of things, but I like to say my shows are fifis. They parties. That's all it is. You come into a party, expect to have fun, expect to jump around. If not, you can go to the back, but just know if you expect to have fun, it's gonna be mosh and all that. And I would say that for all of my shows because it's gonna be lyrical stuff. I want to be personal with people, but at the same time, I want to have fun too. So,
how hard is it, like being 22, trying to balance those things? I mean, being from Chicago, being a rap artist, like you're definitely gonna have that soul side, right?
Right,
it's like
exactly.
inescapable, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, like you see with a lot of, our Chicago artists that we love. I would never talk bad about anybody coming out of the city, but they're having a hard time sometimes getting those kids from Florida with the face tats, you know, to get to their side. And is that something you think about, like the whole SoundCloud rap? Right now we're in a weird era of like Trippie Redd and Post Malone and this stuff. And I'm not talking bad about anybody, but it's a lot different than the music we hear when we go out here in Chicago. And it's sometimes I wonder if we're in a bubble a little bit, a lovable bubble. I like it here; it's beautiful. But how do you kind of like calculate that?
I mean, to be honest, I don't feel personally that I have trouble with that because the best comparison I can make is the same way Herb or like a Dave East is.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how. Yeah, that's kind of how I am. I got songs like I Don't Give a Fuck, which is hard, like get it bussin', but then I also can take it back on the track, and then if you want me to rap at you, I can rap at you.
Yeah. And
I enjoy doing both because it's just both for fun to me. But I try to be as versatile as possible because even when making art, I don't want to sit there and get bored with my own writing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to switch it up. But in terms of Chicago, me in that way, I think Chicago is. I mean, in terms of artists, I do think it's a lot of artists. Like Mick is a great example. I think he mixes it up a lot.
Oh, man. I mean, yeah. Anything from Mick pretty much gets played all the way through in this house.
Yeah. So I think people like that definitely show the versatility of this city. But it can be hard, I think, especially because we in a transitional stage within hip hop and music in general in terms of moving from that blog era into the streaming like services era. It's different. And SoundCloud rap, it's not really SoundCloud rap anymore.
Well, I mean, now you got people like Juice WRLD who just like come up so drastically, and like so fast, and like really took that highway to the top, which didn't exist. Like I feel like the way there used to be eras like 10 years or 20 years or something. Like now it's like every 3 years like a new generation almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Chief Keef seems like he's like 60 years old at this point, but he's like what, 22?
Yeah, probably same age. Yeah, exactly. Like same age.
He just seems like he's way older than he is because he's been around for so long. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, where do you see everything going in terms of like your sound and the things you want to do? Like, is there things you haven't been able to accomplish with your sound yet that you were trying to do?
I probably shouldn't say this because people are like, oh man, I want more music, but I'm sending a lot of music.
Okay. We had this discussion with Rich last week. He was saying like he's always sitting on like 3-4.
Yeah, exactly. Like albums, EPs, all that. And this one sounds completely different from the next one. More melodic on the next one, just more singing. It's a progression of what I'm doing right now. But when you hear it, you be like, oh, I see what he was saying. So, yeah, it's just me getting more into, like, chord progressions, working on the musicality of my art, mixing in certain things, and really taking technical time, experimenting with my voice. Because I feel like I was going through a stage where I was making music, and I didn't really hit, like, puberty yet with my voice. And my voice started to change. And I learned how to use my voice within the last year, and I worked with Jabari Ray for that soundscape. And I remember he was like, you used to try to like add a little grit, a little gruff to your voice, and now it's just naturally done. And that's one thing I learned how to use in terms of like me using certain things within my rap style. But this past year, I've been trying to soften it up and try different things with that. So that's
going back the other way.
Yeah, going the other way. Just trying to try different things and just figure out what I can do with my voice, because I feel like everybody has the potential to know how to sing or to know how to rap.
100%.
It's just
Yeah.
working at the craft like anything else.
Like what fits you.
Exactly.
Right. Well, shit, man. You have a couple shows coming up.
Yeah, I do.
One at Emporium.
Yeah, Emporium November 29th. I have a So Far Sound November 8th. And then I have a listening party December 9th.
And the project is out
December 8th.
December 8th.
Yep.
Got a lot coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah. Trying to end the year strong, yeah.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Tonight, you're out at Empty Bottle with the Closed Sessions crew.
Yeah, that's a little surprise, though. I'm doing one song with Bohouse. So
I didn't mean to blow it.
Nah, you all good. Hey, but
I just said you were there. I didn't say you blew it.
Yeah, that's cool. But I'm going to be there, yeah. With the homies. Shout out to Johnny Jones, Bohouse, you know, everybody in the lineup, RGC. Ruby Hornet.
Alumni, right?
Yeah, another Imp alumni. It's great to see Ruby Hornet doing the show again. Like, that was something.
Man, yeah. It's good to just have Ruby Hornet back.
Yeah,
back
exactly.
in good graces.
Yeah.
Shout out Alex for bringing that back.
Yeah.
I used to write for Ruby Hornet back in the day. It was one of my first entrances in. So always got to give love.
Chicago history, yep.
It's now, I guess so. Getting old. For sure, man, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know you got moves to make, but thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to play the song on the way out. Once again, guys, make sure you get out, hit my line, HML. You can find it on mildsauce.co, SoundCloud, Spotify.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
The corner store, everywhere else, gas station, it's everywhere. Yep. Check out Hit My Line, and we've had Musa Reems, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, Jake.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Good. And this is Hit My Line. It's been Mild Sauce Live. It's kind of hot.
Home and may concern. This note's for you. When you done hearing this, I hope you can relate a little. Cause I wrote for you. I got hella women that's on me on a daily basis that I curve for you. Brown skin complexion, coat bottle frame, fly as hell. You can see the ass poking through. Goddamn, you let me on. Say you miss me when I'm really gone. We was friends before the love. I know you never tell me wrong. I spill my blood on the page whenever I'm penning every song. I had to go to see that you wasn't the cause of every wrong. Pull up. That's Chardonnay and Perry on. If you comfortable, then we can carry on. It don't matter if we carry wrong. Cause when you coming home, I'm throwing the jelly on. Look.
As I like to say, I'm aware that you will ask people to me or not to give personal views. You either go beyond any man's superficial menu or spread size and
So ride solo. Don't bring your friends, ayy. What we got going on shit, it all depends, ayy. I don't really give a fuck what your friends say. I told you I wasn't cheating, you say that's what all men say. Shorty was sacrificed for a ring like David West. You out the most players league, so they gotta pay the refs on the days I stress. I hope all of the hurt we gave could delay the rest. We can make the best, don't worry about the tab, baby girl. I can pay for that. Hit my line, hit my line, hit my